So this is the fifth part of this series. Again, to everyone out there, it just took me a couple days to get where I'm at right now. So I think, yeah, not wasting anybody's time. Let's just get into it. So I think where I left off, the last recording was talking about the Sons and Sontag's reference of. Oh God, I think just missed my train of thought. But what it was about. Um, it was about the Platascade, was it? Yeah, I think it was, and the impact that tale, at least in her perspective, just getting that allegory into the explanation of how photography works nowadays is just getting that right in there. I think what it settles the most, what it settles his essay the most, because when what it will be discussing afterwards in Susan Sontag's book is, yeah, I think the overkill in a way of having to use the image photography to be specific um, in today's society, and as a mean of, well, I think marketing purposes. So in a way, it is to sell something, to present ourselves in the media, and so on. So in a way, I think what is important to mention in her book that was about. Yeah, I think I didn't mention that the last recording. It was how she kept mentioning that we were in, I think, for the most part, being that into allow ourselves to be educated by pictures. So in a way, uh, she went for a journey and for about, I think, 40 to 50 years in her book, in a story in which she talks about, yeah, the American I think for the most part in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, uh, those years in which the photography went from marketing to being, for the most part of the arts in the most modern way of speaking. So in a way, I think what she mentions there is the impact that photography had before that was just to present what it was going on worldwide. Um, in this of that event, I think for the most part, yeah, and documentary purposes, I think. So in a way, I think for the most part, what she kept mentioning was uh, the role of photography in those years in which I think for the most part people took for granted certain things. So when we talk about, um, yeah, just going to history, in certain events, like very bad events, I don't even recall which one she mentioned. Yeah, I think for the most part, worldwide people were not taking those issues rather seriously, as it is for the most part. I think today's society, there's this almost apathy in a way to what is happening currently. So I think what she kept mentioning is the, in a way, photography just was brought up to represent, to document what will be happening. So in a way, it really caused such a tremendous turmoil for people to, yeah, visually see what, well, visually see, visually know what those stories that were happening back then, or a while, just talking about war and yeah, conquest and so on, was something very real. So in a way, the role of photography back then, well, it started back then to be of representation of reality. So in a way, I think where is she built up to the most modern times, in which I think people were just focusing on what they saw in pictures and not having to even consider for a minute uh, the repercussions of the, yeah, the ethos of photography and what it is to having to edit and confuse people for what we're seeing. So I think in a way it is something that is back and forth, a discussion that is back and forth when it comes to um, yeah, documentary photography, because that's I think the main goal for people who are journalists, for journalists, when it comes to, yeah, register what happens daily, right? Um, to be that loyal in a way to what is happening. So yeah, she didn't come to explain, because I think she needn't um she needed to explain what does she mean by that, because I think that this is such a I think prime dilemma in documentary photography, that is to how much of what I'm seeing being the public that receives photography as it is in the news and, yeah, this area, right, in which I think yeah, pictures are meant of represent what is occurring in the real world. Yeah, what is the dilemmas of having someone which is not doing it in the ethical way, right? So in a way, I think she needed to talk about that, but I think uh, what she built from there to the modern times was the crucial point of photography as it is, as we get to get it, uh, I think very passively in a way, that is, we almost feel like pictures are a way of just getting to know the world, right? Or getting to know about something, someone. One, in a way, I think um, it is quite something to explain the, as it is the power of photography to do that. It is something more going on as it is. So in a way, getting back to her point, it was not taking photography as a way of education and so on, because of the facade that it represents sometimes. Just to think about this frame, right? the what is going on. Yeah, it is very easy to convey something that is not necessarily the truth. So yeah, just going back to modern times and the overkill of pictures to represent reality was something that started to pay off for the most part for today's even companies. So in a way, I think that's going back to and comparing the Platoscape and having started with photography as a mean to get to know the truth out there. It is almost as a feel of a full circle that we just go back to the cave. Just now the fire in a way it is um, yeah, the point of using photography as display what today's society wants us to buy. And I think it is quite a statement to do, but I will try to explain in the next video.